So to summarize what we've been saying about sequences, we're going to recall a sequence is a list of objects in a specified order. Usually the sequence we will talk about involve real numbers, and we're thinking of them as a function where you plug in a positive integer and you get a real number. So when you write something like s sub n, n is like the variable of your function, and n is going to be some positive integer, because as you recall, we usually index the terms in our sequence by positive integers, even if the actual elements of our sequence or the terms in our sequence are not integers, but they could just be any kind of real number, with or without a pattern. But as I said, usually the ones we'll deal with in this class will have a noticeable pattern. And we say that it converges to some number if for every value of s sub k, for k greater than or equal to n, we can make that as close as we want to L by choosing n large enough. And then we say a sequence diverges if it does not converge. Before we end this, I want to give a little bit of guidance on a preview activity that I want you to do until our next class. And that's going to be for section 8.2, which is about series. Now, series are kind of built off of sequences, and there's a very specific definition of a series versus a sequence. We're not going to talk about that here. We're just going to look at a preview activity to try to get a feel for what math concepts we might need to recall in order to be prepared to learn this topic. So, preview activity 8.2.1 is talking about a anticoagulant called warfarin. They talk about the dosage of the drug. They talk about the fact that at the end of a 24-hour period, 8% of the drug is left over in the body. So Q of n is a function telling you how much warfarin is left in the body. Using this information, reading it again more carefully on your own, you need to explain why Q of 1 is 5 times 0.08 milligrams. Q of 2 is 5 plus Q of 1, that whole quantity, times 0.08 milligrams. So try to explain why that is, and the hint for you is the activity we did at the beginning of the sequences section involving the compound interest. So look back at that, try to notice what patterns led to the formula in one of the later parts of that preview activity, and come back to this so that you can try to make sense of it. Once you have made sense of this, you'll do a little bit of algebra to show that the expression here is equivalent to the expression here. And then you're going to build that pattern slowly with each of the other parts. And then you're going to try to figure out a general formula for Q of n. And there's this table here where you're going to figure out the values of Q of n for different values of n. And you want to get at least 10 decimal places in your answer. And then you're going to talk about what you think is happening. So those are some hints for this preview activity. This is going to be part of your homework. So it is a discovery activity. I really want you to think and struggle and work with it. Hopefully this explanation helped you to get started, and I hope this creates a good foundation for you to be able to understand series when we talk about them next. Thank you.